Hey everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Time to get back to our top bottom and top best movies from 2025, second half of the year. So if you haven't seen the first half of the year, Dominick and I got together. I think it was in August we released that one. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out. This is going to be the second half of the year of 2024. I think I said 2025. It's 2024. So we're gonna do this video is gonna be the bottom five movies from the second half of 2024. So Dominic, thanks for joining me. It's great having you again.
Thank you, Jeff. Thanks a lot.
All right, so we'll jump right into it. And I'm gonna give you the first option to go first, to talk about your fifth or however you want to do it. We're gonna let you go with the second half of 2024 and were the worst movies you saw.
Sure. Well, I'm gonna throw this little, nugget at you. I did have one. I kind of had six, but I made it five, so just kind of made one a dishonorable mention. And I'm pretty sure that you liked this movie, or at least thought it was okay, but it wasn't really our demographic. I'm talking about Monster Summer. I didn't like Monster Summer. I mean, maybe if you have a little kid, they would have liked Monster Summer. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. At the very end, the kid from The Sandlot was the witch or whatever, and Kevin James was in it for like 2 minutes, and I don't know. Mel Gibson was too good for the movie. His part was like he was like too good of an actor for the movie, so Monster Summer gets a dishonorable mention. So it didn't crack the
Okay.
bottom five. But man, no Monster Summer. It scared me out of the movie theater. No.
Wow. Okay. All right. All
Didn't
right.
like it. But I will go with my real number five. My real number five was actually Moana 2. I went to the theaters to see Moana 2. I thought the first one was decent, pretty good. And the second one, this is gonna sound a little funny, but it was a children's movie. It wasn't a cartoon movie. It was a flat out, straight up children's movie for like young kids. And it was originally supposed to be a series, but they made it a movie just to make a few extra bucks. It made a ton of money, which is, I suppose, great for Disney, but it was so juvenile, it was so childish, it was a total rehash of the first one. There was no cookie center, no heart to it. It was just off the assembly line. Let's make another, huge money-making movie from Disney. And I guess people liked it because it made money, but the reviews were lukewarm. And yeah, don't see Moana 2. I know I'm probably 35 years outside of the demographic, 40, 35 years outside of the demographic, but don't see Moana 2. I mean, I guess if you have kids, but for me, it was a thumbs down. No Moana 2.
All right. All right. I actually never saw Moana 1, and now I won't see Moana 2. So I'll scratch them both off my list, but good insight. It's also, I think it's interesting to mention one of the things I should have led with was that, you have the movie pass. So you've seen a lot of these things in theater,
All the time.
in the theater. So you have that perspective, which is a little bit different than me. Everything I've seen, I saw one movie. I was thinking about it right before this. I saw one movie in the theater in 2024. It was Deadpool and Wolverine. That was the only movie I saw in the theater all year. And I have a $60 gift certificate to go. I just don't get the opportunity. So, just letting the audience know we're going to have some different perspectives here because I think you've seen a lot more movies than I have. So, all right, let's jump
Sure.
over to me real quick. On number five for me, again, something I was excited to see. I think one of the things that I normally don't do is watch trailers. I have been now, those who watch my channel, adding trailers to the movie reviews. That's post, movie. So I never watch the trailers ahead of time. So when Y2K came out, I thought, okay, that's going to be a cool movie, right? Because I was around in Y2K and everything that was going down. I'm like, that's cool that they're going to make a movie about it. And it's about like two high school kids who finally make a decision to go out and go to the party on New Year's Eve in 1999. They're not the cool kids. They're just trying to become cool. So it's got that, I don't know, maybe American Pie kind of feel. Not necessarily American Pie, but you get it. The high school kids who want to be popular and they go to this New Year's Eve party. Hopefully, something's going to happen. And then when Y2K hits year 2000, it gets ridiculous. And the monsters in it, and I think we should say spoiler alert throughout this entire movie review, this entire video, because we're going to talk openly about it. But it was basically electronics coming to life and building makeshift robots that are like trying to take over the world, and it just really got silly for me. Right up until New Year's Eve, right until the ball dropped, it was okay movie. And then when the ball dropped, and I think the movie dropped. So Y2K didn't hit for me. Didn't watch the trailer, didn't know what I was getting into, and came away very
Yeah, I
disappointed.
didn't see that. I think too many people gave it lousy reviews. They said there was too many shifts in tone. It didn't really work out too well. And maybe I'll watch it on if I'm, some late night, I'll watch it on TV because it's free. But even with a free movie pass, I didn't drag my body out to the theater to see that. It just didn't look good. Yeah,
Cool. Yeah.
yeah.
Skip that one.
But I believe it to be my turn now. The next movie, the number four and the worst of the second half of 2024, Long Legs, starring our good buddy Nicolas Cage. Blair Underwood was in it, and the director was Osgood Perkins. I didn't really care for Long Legs. I think we were pretty split on this movie. I don't remember if you saw it or not. I think you said you were going to see it, but I mean, some people loved it. A lot of people disliked it. It was kind of a, split down the middle. I just couldn't get into it, Jeff. I just couldn't get into it. And I tried. I sat there and I'm like, what are we doing here? And I almost walked out, but I stayed the whole way. And it wasn't for me. Nicolas Cage jumping up and down. I don't know. I just couldn't get into Long Legs at all.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, it had a great premise. I think it was supposed to be really scary. I wasn't really scared, and I think Nicolas Cage got a little too, as they
Yeah.
say, cagey. So, all right. Cool. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was okay. Yeah, I was hoping for a lot more. I had higher expectations for it. So,
Sure.
didn't make my bottom five. But going back over to me, the next one in my row here, more recently, I've been trying to cram in as many movies as I can here as we're leading into this, making sure I'm watching movies from 2024. Werewolf. Is it Werewolf or Werewolves? Werewolves. With Frank Grillo in it. This is I really didn't like it, and what I normally do in order to determine my top and bottom five is I take my IMDb ratings and, flip them upside down and just look at them. I mean, this one, the one movie I had was rated a 4, the bottom one, which we're not at yet. But this one, I think I had it at a 5, for that, so it was a tie with a lot of other ones. But yeah, that one just, it didn't work for me. I didn't like the werewolves. When they came out, I thought the transition part from human to werewolf was fun. But ultimately that flopped for me. I didn't enjoy it at all, and was very disappointed in werewolves.
I don't necessarily completely disagree with you. I mean, at the end of the day, it wasn't a good movie. I mean, there's no getting around it. But I was entertained by some of the aspects that were like unintentionally funny or meant to be maybe meant to be cheesy. Like at the end or towards the middle, he had one ridiculous one-liner. I forgot what it was. I think you said in your review, why did he have to fight his neighbor? Like it was totally. He said to the neighbor, "I never liked you." I mean, it was so ridiculous, and they didn't explain why it happened. I mean, too many things didn't make sense. I mean, it was like a movie that a child wrote, but somehow I found it unintentionally funny. Again, it was not a good movie, but I mean, I wouldn't rate it the best or the worst. It was what it was, I guess. It was so
Okay.
stupid, but I
All
get it.
right.
I get why it's
Cool.
on the list. All right, so I think that it's my turn. Another one that I saw this year that the second half of 2024 I didn't like was called Blink Twice. The director was Zoe Kravitz, Channing Tatum, and Haley Joel Osment were in it, and a bunch of other people. I just didn't care for it. I don't remember if you saw it or not. I just didn't like it. It was just too much. It's, at the end there's supposed to be a twist. Just didn't like it. It's just on this resort. Channing Tatum is, this charming. I think he was wealthy in the movie, and I don't know. It didn't hit for me. I see these movies in the theaters, and even when it ends, I look at how the audience react, and they just kind of sat there for a minute and just like walked out immediately. It just, I don't know, blinked twice. I wish I closed my eyes instead.
That's great. I actually, I'm a fan of Channing Tatum. I think when they make a movie about me, he'll probably play me. Um, it depends on when they make the movie. Hopefully he's not too old by then. But I do like him. The other thing I liked about the movie was the female aspect of it. The female lead, you know what I mean? It was all driven. So, I'm always a fan of that. And but otherwise I agree. I mean, it didn't hit my expectations. I was expecting a lot and it undershot my expectations. So I agree
Yeah.
with you on that one. I, again, didn't make my bottom five, but you know. So all right, back to me. I think I'm at number three, right? Yeah, I did two. So this one, this was as I mentioned, a lot of them are tied. So I have to pull from all of these that are rated as like very low for me. And this one's about a boy and his stepmother. They fear for their safety because there's an eerie creature that resembles his father's that kind of lives in the woods. It's called Daddy's Head. So I did
Oh,
a
I didn't
review
see
on
it.
it, of course, and it was a very, very strange, weird movie. But just it was hard to watch. It wasn't, entertaining at all. I like strange and weird movies that are going to be different. I like the creative aspect of it, which was there, but ultimately it just didn't work for me. And the way that they staged everything, it just I don't know, it was a flop. I wouldn't recommend it to everybody. I don't think a lot of people have seen it, and I think it should stay that way.
I think I watched about the first 10 or 15 minutes and on Shudder, and I'm like, this is just way too weird for me and too odd. And I think I just shut it off.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you. All right, so the worst movies of the second half of 2024. Number two, I don't think you saw this, but I'm just gonna cut right to the point. Craven the Hunter stunk. I mean, it really stunk. The director was J.C. Cantor, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and Russell Crowe. I mean, I was hoping against hope that somehow it would be good because I like Craven the Hunter, the Spider-Man villains, the Spider-Man anti-heroes, and it was just so bad. I mean, so many critics said it was the worst movie of 2024, all of 2024. And I couldn't, I almost walked out twice. I mean, there was just nothing to it. Well, the first 5 minutes were pretty good, but other than that, just nothing. It was just lifeless. I mean, it's hard to describe how lousy it was. There was no heart, there was no life. It was just nothing, just a big fat nothing.
I did see it. The review will be coming out. It's on, scheduled to come out. That was one that I watched coming into this week, but I haven't released a review yet. And I'm surprised that there's so much hate. I knew what I was getting when I went into it. Another Marvel, Sony movie, totally, origin story. And I didn't know that much about Craven coming into it. And there were some things that I didn't like about it. We'll cover in the review when that comes out. But I didn't have as much hate as everybody else. It's not a Spider-Man, it's not one of the top Marvel movies out there, don't get me wrong, but I found it a little bit of fun.
That's
So,
good. I mean, everyone's different. I mean, the Venom movies, I liked all three of them, but most people, it's kind of like most people didn't really like them, kind of gets hate. I liked all three of them. It's another example, but this one just couldn't work out for me.
okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. So I'm at number two now, right? And
Yeah.
so kind of renamed this movie. I don't know if it's going to be on your list either the top or the bottom. Hopefully not. But if you've seen it, Megaflopolis is what I'm calling it. Megatropolis, is that what it's called? Megalopolis, right? So Megalopolis, I just couldn't take. So that's a Francis Ford Coppola about this like future
Who's that?
utopian world. Has Adam Driver in it. It has Natalia, what is her Nathalia Emmanuel. A lot of good people in it, right? So it's very star-studded. Writer director, obviously it was all there. It just couldn't hold my interest. I just was so bored with that movie. I couldn't stand it at all. There's many different angles I think they were trying to take, and I didn't care for any of them. I thought, the beginning was pretty okay, like when he's standing on top of the building and stops time. Okay, that's cool, but everything else was just, oh, it just drug on forever too. It was just like, oh, please let it end. I just couldn't stand it. I was hoping same kind of thing. I was thinking, oh, everybody else doesn't like this movie. I'm sure, I'll see it differently. No, I totally, that's the number two worst movie for me in the second half of 2024.
It doesn't sound like you liked it very much at all. I did not see it. I think it's gonna stay
Okay.
that way.
Yeah. Save your time.
All right, so my number one, worst of the second half of 2024, major motion picture was called Slingshot. The director was Hofstrom, starring Casey Affleck and Lawrence Fishburne. I actually saw this in the movie theater, and it was me in the middle of the day and like two other people. It was so slow moving. It was such a drag. It was such a slow burn. Casey Affleck, yes, he's a good actor, but he's kind of dry. He talks slow, and I literally left to use the bathroom and like really took my time just to take a number one, and then just like slowly walk back to the movie theater because I wasn't interested. And like 12 minutes later, Casey Affleck was still talking in a slow, methodical way to Lawrence Fishburne. And it just nothing happened in the movie. I mean, I literally fell asleep. It was that bad.
Wow.
I mean, it was boring as anything. I did not like Slingshot at all. It got terrible reviews.
What was it about? I don't know if I've seen it. I
It
don't
was
think
they
so.
went up into space, Lawrence Fishburne and Casey Affleck, like a space
Yes.
shuttle, something to that capacity. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay, I get it now. I think I did see that one. I think that did come out on video. Okay. Yep. All right. Cool. Well, luckily enough, well, I shouldn't say that, but we'll talk about the top five in the next video, but none of your bottom five landed in my top five. So that's good. So let's jump to my bottom one. Again, probably not a lot of people have seen this, and thankfully so. And this is to tell you, if you haven't seen it, don't waste your time. The movie is called Untamed Royals, right? So it's a bunch of privileged young kids. And it says basically they start, having all these crimes and they start getting away and this lavish lifestyle. And it's like, okay, like I've seen stuff like that before where, these kids who, get everything handed to them, decide to act out and steal or rob or vandalize and stuff like that, and again, it gets strange or weird and they take it too far. In this case, it was just so dull. It was such a dull movie. There was like one crime that they committed that they tried to cover up the entire time, and it just did. Another one, I was just waiting for it to end. I was like, this is ridiculous. It doesn't have anybody in it. I don't know why I watched it. I don't know why I watch half the movies I watch, but hopefully to save more people time. And I think in this case, Untamed Royals or whatever it was, don't watch it. Save your time. It's not worth it. There we
We've
go.
got some stinkers on this list.
Yeah. So there we have it. There's our bottom five. We went through pretty quick, so I thought that was pretty good. Hopefully people stuck around. And appreciate everybody watching. Dominic, you want to say anything before we close this one out?
I mean, I think that I go to movies all the time now because of Movie Pass. I think there were a lot of great movies this year, but there were also, we'll talk about them next. But there were also a lot of stinkers, and I wish I could put a positive rose-colored glass on this, but most of these movies just stunk. I'm just gonna cut it out as it is. Most of these movies just stunk.
Yeah.
Hopefully we saved you time. I mean, that's positive. Hopefully we saved you time.
Yeah. There you go. All right, so we'll cut out for now, but if you haven't seen our top five video, make sure you check that out. Check out the videos from earlier in the year for the first half. If you haven't seen those, I'll try and put the links in here like they do, like the real YouTubers, if I remember. But thanks everybody for joining. We appreciate it. And like I said, if you haven't seen the other videos, make sure you check them out. Thanks for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Pub.
Thank you.
Thank you.